Tomo Moriwaki, you're here again. You're here for the first time. Tell people, give people your deal. Who are you? What is your deal? Short summation.
Sure. My name is Tomo Moriwaki. I've been a game designer for at least 26 years. I'd like to say. I feel like I'm losing count over the years. I mostly a systems designer over the course of time. Although now, as a co-founder of a company, I feel like all I do is talk to clients. I got my start in '97 at Treyarch. Um, my claim to fame is probably the best thing, closest thing to claim to fame is Spider-Man 2 in 2004. I was creative director on that project. In 2014, I started a small studio called Hyperkinetic Studios, and we've done tons of client work projects, and we have a game in Steam Early Access called Epic Tavern, which was a game about systematizing storytelling.
All right, and so okay, that's a good summary. Now we've got a series of questions here. Some are broad, some are not. I'll start with the broadest one. And why is making games so hard? Is making games hard, and why is making games so hard?
So games is definitely hard. I think its difficulty somehow defies normal logic over and over and over again. But I'd say the biggest reason why it's hard is because if it's worth doing, there's a certain amount of new ideas or unprecedented nature to the interactivity, and that alone sort of puts you into an uncertain enough space that a lot of the rules you might have under your belt, a lot of the ways in which you like to approach things, that they have to be modulated a little bit at the very least. I mean, I feel like another factor is that the scale of what we have to do to make these things has just kept growing ever since the early 2000s. I feel like, when I got my start, I was sort of in the middle of this sudden increase in complexity and scale. And even though that was like 25 years ago, we still haven't quite got it all figured out.
Yeah, I know. I kind of feel like we're doing this weird thing where it's like we're taking two things that kind of don't exist. Like we're taking like aesthetics and numbers, pulling them out of thin air, and like rolling them into a ball and trying to create fun, which is another unquantifiable substance,
Sure.
and delivering it to people. And it's kind of like it's just a weird thing to sort of like, what is fun? Like, how do you determine? I mean, when you're working on a game too, it's like, how do you even know it's fun? You've been working on it for so long, but how do you know what you're working on is good when you're so close to it and it's something that's so hard to evaluate?
I feel like looking back to the early years, we'll say like the first 15 years or so, we didn't really know. I think that we sort of followed our gut. We liked the games that we liked, and we could sort of cut and paste a little bit of that into the experiences we made. I don't think there was a lot of science around understanding things. We didn't use words like engagement back then. I think fun is quantifiable. I think you can start by sort of appreciating how much time a person wants to spend with a thing. I think you can start understanding sort of how much of their time away from the experience is spent thinking about it, or how much of a desire they have to talk about it, right? We can measure a lot of things about a person having a good time. But that's just the start, right? Trying to actually make something that causes them to do that, super sophisticated and complicated. I think a lot of us have gotten lucky over the years, and that we're still trying to figure out the right description for what that means.